All right, so it's 7 o'clock and July 13th. Welcome to the middle of summer in 2021. Great to see you here. And you're going to see some funky flashlights going on today because my Wi-Fi white light over here is just not cooperating. So you're going to see things go dark and come light, and it's just kind of a magic show that I've done all the work behind the scenes just to make this really interesting today. So anyway, that's what's going to happen if you kind of see my lights flashing on and off going over here. So yeah, and Scott won't have that problem, I promise. Let me bring him in to the fold here, and welcome again for another Tuesday night, my friend.
Thank you, Joey. It's great to be here once again on Tuesday night.
Tuesday nights, marketing made easy, and this is going to be really cool because we have a podcast coming up from this show. So I wanted to let everybody know who is a great contributors to this show, who are supporters of the show. So thank you very much for that. We will be making these also into podcasts, little snippets of podcasts, and look out for that. So that's the big news, the first big news that's coming out of today's broadcast. The second big news is that, hey, we're going to talk about marketing today.
No, that's awesome.
Hey, good to see you, Petra. Nice to see you. And thank you, everybody who's joining us live and on the replay. Good to see you. If you like what you're seeing, please give us a like or a heart or something like that. Maybe even share it with your crew. And it lets Facebook and YouTube and everybody else know that we're doing an awesome job here. We think we're doing an awesome job. And just helps us get in front of more people so we can help you out with your marketing, your business, your mindsets, and all that stuff. Good to see you, Lori. Let's see here. Let's give them some props here. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Camilla is here. All right. Late in Sweden. We have the diehards who go all night waiting for us to show up. Thank you. Love you for that. Today, we are talking about something really, really important. Something that is goes throughout all of your marketing. We talked about it today in Atlas. I figured it would be awesome for us to talk about today because it was like, hey, wait a second, guys. I haven't talked about this enough. Told my group that and figured if I didn't talk about it enough with my group, we probably haven't talked about it enough here on the broadcast. And I'm talking about the 5 levels of customer awareness, which was born from Eugene Schwartz, right? And breakthrough advertising. And there's been multiple variations of it, but I just wanted to talk about that. And I even have a PDF here that maybe we could look at so I can show the visual of it. And by the way, it gives me an opportunity to invite you into the group because I will be sharing this PDF that I'm going to share with you inside my Facebook group. So if you're not already in the Facebook group, join me in there and join Scott and I in there and a whole bunch of great heart-centered entrepreneurs, awesome human beings, solopreneurs, everybody's in there and just trying to help each other out. I'll share this document in there for you. Okay. So do you have anything, do you want me to share the document first, Scott, and then we can just talk about it, or any insights on it before we do that?
Well, obviously, as you said in the preamble, if it was a preamble, that you've got them going from the one that's unaware or totally clueless to the one that's the most aware, that kind of knows everything in between. They know the product, they know they got a problem, they know what the solution is, and that they're the most aware. They have a clue, they're your best. And obviously the one that's unaware. So looking at each one of them and which stage they're at is important in the marketing. You know that really well, especially with the way you email.
Mm-hmm.
Email to people at the different stages of awareness.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we do this? Why don't I try to use some fancy stuff here and share my screen and see if I can do this right. I think it's got to be on the next monitor over here. And let's do that. Share the screen. I'm going to do this one over here. Beautiful.
Very impressive, Joey.
Look at that. So this is what we're talking about here. What you just described, the unaware and moving into the most aware stages. And so let's talk a little bit about this. Maybe we can even read through this if we want to, but you and I know this inside and out. So let's just take it from our experience and insights first. How's that?
Okay.
So let me ask you this. I don't know about you, but from the people that I speak to, there's a huge percentage that I chat with, see on threads and whatever it is, who like this market. Like they're like they're in here, but I'm not sure that they really understand what it takes to really tap into this unaware market. And the reason I say that is because I hear a lot of, or read a lot, whatever you want to call it, that if they just knew this thing, then they would buy my product. If they just knew they had this problem or whatever, and they're trying to educate that market into understanding that, hey, you've got a problem, and there's also a solution out there, and here's where you go buy it. Now, what about you? Like, have you run into that, or do you see, what's your perspective on that when you're speaking to anybody?
It's kind of like being in denial. You don't even know that you have a problem. So it's difficult for that person to really know that they've got a problem, that there's a solution out there, and there's a product that can help them. It's kind of like these people that are coming online, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what they don't know. So for them to even be like, okay, what do I do first? They're not looking at copy. They're just like, I heard that there is this thing called online marketing. I heard there's this way that I could make money online if I had a website or a Facebook channel or a YouTube channel or a Facebook group. They don't even know that they've got to write marketing copy or that they need to find a coach. They're so unaware that there's even a problem because they haven't even gotten into that point.
Well, I don't know. I would challenge that, because I would say that the people that are coming online know the problem is, I'm not making any money. And I've heard this thing called online marketing, but they don't know enough about online marketing, but that they're aware of a problem, that they're not making money, or they just got, whatever, COVID wiped them out or whatever. So they're problem aware, I would say. They're not unaware.
Okay. So,
right. So then they're between, I think they're between the problem and the solution aware. They're like, okay, I'm online, I'm in all these groups. Should I buy Kajabi? Should I buy Thinkific? Should I have a website? Right? So they're like kind of in that sweet spot.
So what is your definition of unaware?
Unaware is when you have no idea that you've got a problem, and I come in and say, hey, listen, by the way, there's this thing called the internet and online marketing that you could run a business and make money. And they're like, why would I want to do that? Like, my job pays me $200,000 a year. You know what I mean? It's like me going in and saying, you should quit your job or do this other thing. And you're totally unaware of it. You have no idea that it's an opportunity or that you've got an issue. A great example would be, a simplest example is an alcoholic. An alcoholic is way down to the unaware, where they're drinking and drinking and drinking. They don't think they've got a problem. So yes, you can go in and talk to that person and show them that they've got a problem, but they're in an unaware stage at some point. So it's like, it's a waste of energy until they decide, you know what, maybe I am drinking a little bit too much. I think I've got a little bit of a problem, right? And they move from that unaware stage to the next stage.
Well, that's why I say you're talking about denial. They're in denial.
Sure.
Right.
Sure, but yeah, and so they don't know that they've got a problem. But in the other example I gave you, which is an unaware market, is an unaware market. They have no idea that there is a problem, and they don't know, and they don't have a desire to fix it because they don't even know about it.
Right.
So that's why the online thing is, I know that there's a problem, I just don't know what to do about it.
I'm with you.
Cool. That's why when I talk to any client, or I'm looking at these and saying, tell me about your market. And then as soon as they start telling me, well, they don't know this thing over here, and I'm going to show them what they don't know and why they don't know it. And it just boggles my mind. I'm like, that's a lot of freaking work. Like, you have to tell somebody you've got a problem, and then show them they got the problem, then show them what the solution is, then tell them about your product, and then they become the buyer. That's a lot of levels.
It is, and I think there's also different levels of awareness that we need to look at, or unawareness. You've got it right there in those bullets. Is they're not aware that there's a desire or a need or there's a problem.
Yeah.
Again, we don't always have to go with a problem. It could be they're not aware that there is an ultimate benefit, that there is something out there that they don't even know exists. It's like when you climb a mountain and you go, I'm looking forward to climbing this mountain, and you get to the top and then you realize, oops, there's a bigger one behind it.
Well, dude, like these are all, like, just to be clear, these are all related to all of these other boxes.
Right.
That's why they're there. So that's what I mean. It's like you are completely unaware of everything above that level. So
Right.
like I might be like product aware is where they know who we are. They're
Right.
looking for the best video production, fast video thing. They know of fast video creator. They know it. They know you. And all now they're looking for is when is the right time to buy fast video creator. That's what a product aware is. So they already know you. In the unaware stage, they don't even know who you, they obviously don't know who you are. They don't even know they want to do video editing, right? Mm-hmm. Why would they want to do it? And so like, why would you go to the unaware market and say, hey guys, I've got this product about video editing. And they're like, what?
Yeah. What?
Right?
Yeah.
So then if you come in, you're here. I believe you are right here with your audience. You've got the problem is you can't make videos fast, right? And it's hard and all this other stuff. And then you go, by the way, I've got a solution.
Yep.
Here's the solution. And then you say, by the way, it's called Fast Video Creator. And now you've moved them. And this can happen within one of your 20-minute videos or something.
Right.
It can all happen. And then they're sitting here and going, all right, well, am I ready to buy this thing or am I not ready to buy this thing? Mm-hmm. So that's what I really wanted to stress to people listening to this, because this is the big one for me, where it's an issue, and we believe that we could educate that market and say, man, just if you just listen to me, I'll be able to fix your problem. And they say, what problem?
Right.
Right. And now on the other side of it, okay, the other side of this is that the unaware market is a huge opportunity to make a whole bunch of money. Mm-hmm. Because you can educate and you become, the number one position in their mind and all of that stuff. But rarely do any of us have the time, money, and energy to do that. We're not this big corporation that can put so much money and time and advertising and marketing and all this stuff to educate the market and take that position in the unaware space. What are your thoughts?
That I totally agree. That's a huge climb to try and educate the unaware market, unless you've got a ton of money and resources to do it. You look at the Fortune 100 companies that have got hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that they throw into advertising. It's like, oh crap, I didn't realize I had that problem. Okay, I got that problem. Drug companies are so good at it. You look anywhere at a drug ad and it's like, is this thing happening in your life? And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's not really a problem. Well, it is a problem, because if you don't do anything about it, then this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And you're like, holy crap. Well,
right.
Okay, don't worry about it. We got the solution, and we've got this famous actor who's going to tell you how great the solution is, and you're going to believe them. And so that's that whole process in there. For us as heart-centered entrepreneur business people, we really can't go. It's like the whole Facebook thing. You go out and you just put a blind ad out there, hoping that someone's going to say, yeah, I'll click on it because I got that problem.
Okay, so yeah, now I'm glad you brought that up. So let's talk about that for a second, and why is this all important? So let's say you're doing a Facebook ad. How does the customer levels of awareness pertain to the Facebook ad?
Well, it's huge, because if you're going after, if you know who your audience is, you know who your dream client is, you know who your target avatar is, and you know who that audience is, then you can go out and say, okay, Facebook, I want you to put this ad in front of these people because these people have this problem. Unfortunately, if you don't have an audience, you have to start from the unaware stage. And it takes time and money to get an ad out there so that Facebook puts it out to enough people where they can say, okay, your audience is this demographic, this psychographic, and then you start playing the game of people that are clicking. And then you got to look at so many different factors of what happened once they clicked. Did they get to the landing page? How long did they stay on the landing page? Did they opt in? What did they do? So,
well, what about the copy side of it? That's kind of where I'm leaning toward.
Well, what about the copy side of it? The copy is everything.
Well, here's how I approach it. Whenever I'm going to write copy to any market, it's and you already talked about it within the segmentation I do with emails or whatever. Okay, it's always about looking at the segment of the audience, whether it's a Facebook group or whatever, or Facebook audience thingy, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're saying, where are they on the level of awareness? So if, let's use your thing as an example, that you wanted to do a Facebook ad on the video creator, then you speak to the problem aware people at the problem aware stage. You don't talk to them at the product aware stage. You don't start the ad with, hey, did you know that fast video creator can XYZ, right? It would be more about, are you struggling to get videos out fast, right? You start with the level that they are at. And that's why this is so brilliant and why I teach this in Right Marketing Copy. I give it to all of my classes, the students, and say, look, this is how you start an ad. This is how you know how to speak to the audience. As long as you know where they are on that level, it's very simple to enter the conversation that's going on in their mind, right? Because you already know that. So if you're talking to an audience who is in your world and they've already watched your training on Fast Video Creator and all that other stuff, then you might send an email to that segment starting with, look, you already know that Fast Video Creator does like da, and today is the time to get it because XYZ. So you can be way more, I'm going to use the words in air quotes, aggressive in your marketing that way, because they're waiting for that most aware stage. They're waiting for, when is the right time for me to buy Fast Video Creator? You don't have to solve that, go through all the problems and solutions and all that kind of stuff, because they already know it.
Right.
So that's the difference in copy.
Yeah, they've gone through the levels of awareness already. They are at a point where they've got the problem, solution, and product awareness. In the beginning stages, those have to be fleshed out with copy.
Yeah, it depends, right? We're talking about, it depends on who you're speaking to at what point, because you might speak to the solution part of it, and they're all on your email list. They're just at different stages. They just right. So if I talk about Atlas, I'm looking at the thing probably in the problem solution, but leaning more towards the solution. I'm in that zone, right? Like here's the 3 or 4 problems you have, and this is the solution that I figured out. And then at the end of it, I'll say, by the way, I've got this thing called Atlas. So I'm introducing the product, but I'm focusing more on the solution and just touching a little bit on the problems. I'm not focused on the problems anymore, because they already know it. They already know they've got all these problems. I'm just referencing them. So for me, that's why the copy is easy to write, because I know exactly where their mindset is. If I came in and said, like, how we see a lot of these marketers, where all they're talking about is their product and trying to sell it, and why can't I sell it? Well, dude, because you're talking to the wrong section of the market. You're talking to problem-aware people or solution-aware people about your product, and they don't care about that. They care about their problem, or they care about their solution, and or both, right?
So for a newbie who is totally unaware of the steps here, of the customer levels of awareness, where would somebody start if they have a product, a service? Again, we've talked a lot about the problem, the solution, attention, interest, desire. You've got to get their attention and break through where they're at right now and then join their conversation. So how do you evaluate your audience to see what stage they're at?
By their conversation. It's what they're talking about. This is why the research is so important, because when I see, when I'm analyzing someone's quote unquote funnel, however it looks, these are the things I look for. And if somebody says, well, my Facebook ad isn't getting any sales, I'll look for the general things, the click-throughs, is it congruent in the pages and blah, blah, blah. But then I'm like, well, who are you speaking to? And are you talking about, what happens is most people will start here, like let's say in an ad, in a problem aware, okay? And then they'll jump right to here, most aware. So they try to skip all of these stages really quickly. And that's the problem with pretty much 100% of the funnels or whatever stages of not selling that I've seen, is they try to jump all these areas. So the answer to your question is, if you're tapped into the market, which we should be every single day, right? At least 10% of our time going into listening to the conversation that's going on, and you can easily identify that. If they're talking about problem, then guess where they are, right? They're in the problem stage. If they're talking about, look, I need to know what, if there's a way that I could make videos fast, is there a way to do that? And I've looked at this and I've looked at that. I'm just not sure. They're in the solution aware stage.
Yep.
Looking for, I don't know if I should be doing Adobe. I don't know if I should be doing this, right? And that could also be an argument where they're in the product aware stage, but you can, where I'm going with this. So you can easily identify just by the conversations. Yes, no?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I was just, how do you get your point out to somebody that has a problem and you have the solution? They don't know that they really have that problem. I'll give you an example. Fast Track Creator, the new piece of software we've got. People don't realize necessarily that music is probably the most powerful part of video. Any movie you ever go to, anything has music, because music affects the mood. And as you know, Joey, music affects time. Because I can look at you, I can look at copy, and I know what's coming. Music, you never know what's coming because it unfolds over time and you get engaged in it. So everybody's now getting into podcasting and people are doing videos, and then they get to the music piece and they're like, well, let me go get something of music, let me fade it out and I'm good. So to the market, there's a lot of people that don't even know that there's a problem. So do you think that for my audience now that I'm going after, that I'm looking at an unaware audience?
Yeah, that would be the very first thing that I would say. However, there's a caveat to this, okay? Because you could identify a problem that they have with their video. Let's say, let me ask you this: what does the music do for the video? What's the benefit of it?
The music enhances the mood. It brings people deeper into the video, whether it's a talking head, whether it's an animated, whether it's an explainer, by putting in the type of music that resonates with you. When you go watch a good movie and the villain comes out, the music is da-da and dark. When the hero comes in and saves the day, it's da-da. And if you didn't see any words on the screen or you didn't hear any dialogue and you just had the music, you would know that da-dum, 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 in the darkness, plodding through the cemetery at night, and then the shriek and the scream, and then all of a sudden the lights come on and everything is wonderful. The music affects us in so many ways.
Okay, so what's the benefit of me having that music in my marketing video?
You're going to capture people to pay attention,
Okay.
to become riveted into the video more so than just the visual and the vocal. It connects with them on an emotional level that nothing else can.
So that what happens?
So that they engage in it, they watch it to the end, and eventually want to make a purchase.
Right. So there you go. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is the problem is my videos suck. They don't hold people's attention,
Right.
and they're clicking off. They're waiting for that 5-second skip ad thingy, and I can't get them to even watch the video, even though I can create the video fast. So
Yep.
they're in the problem aware stage, and what you're doing is you're introducing a new solution to what the problem is. They're not unaware. They're unaware of the music piece, but that doesn't mean anything. It's like this is a problem that nobody watches my videos long enough. Well, did you know that if you added music and invoke emotion and all that, that adds to the engagement of the video? No, I didn't know that. Right? So they kind of are unaware of that thingy, but they're coming into your world with the problem that you're taking your solution and connecting it to the problem. I hope everybody's listening to this very closely because this is very important. Do you agree with that, Scott?
Totally agree. It is vitally important. And that's why I wanted to throw this out there, because pretty much everybody in the online world knows that you have to make a video, whether it's a talking head video or a short intro or an outro or an animated video. Why? Because the second largest search engine in the world is YouTube, owned by the largest search engine in the world, Google, and Facebook loves, and everybody, Instagram and TikTok, they all love videos. Why? Because people can consume a video easier than anything else. And when look at the Marvel universe, look at Star Wars, and look at James Bond, and look at the Harry Potter, hundreds of billions of dollars because people want to be entertained. So they know video. People love music. People know that. Everyone's got their favorite song. And what does your favorite song do? It brings you back to a place and time, whether it was happy, sad, joy, that you remember what that song means to you. Everyone's got a favorite song or favorite song. We grew up with nursery rhymes. We grew up with songs. So in looking at what it does and then interpreting it like you did, Joey, you don't even realize how powerful music is. And once you realize that, then it's like, well, that's interesting. I didn't realize that.
Right. And so let's take it further. By the way, if I'm going to be sharing this document in my Facebook group, if you're not a part of that already, here's the free Facebook group. Join us in there, and we talk a lot about marketing. We're there helping every single day, Scott and the whole crew. And if you have a comment or question about your levels of awareness, please put it in the comments too, because we'd love to help you. And I just we're just coaching each other here to show you how this all works. So, Scott, here's the thing. Talking about what you just said. So if you are talking to your market, then what you're doing is you're kind of educating them, which is nothing wrong with that in the problem aware stage, right? You're saying, look, here's why music is important. Because you said something earlier that you said everybody in the world knows how important video is. That's not true, right? It may not be true, because I might be problem aware saying, look, I'm doing this online thing and nothing's working. And you come in and say, and that's another problem that you could identify with. I know nothing's working because you don't have video. Did you know that video is XYZ? Okay. Agree with that so far?
Yep.
Okay. So that's one market. That's one area. They're still in your world. Then you could also talk to the other people who say, you know what? I know that I need to do video. And the problem is I can't do them fast. So now you're talking to these guys. It's a totally different ad. It's a totally different entry point to the market. So if I don't know that video is like, I should be doing video, and you come in and start talking about video over here, I'm like, that doesn't have any effect. That has nothing to do with me. Right? Because I'm not solution aware. I'm not aware that I need to do video. And this is where when we're talking about marketing or segmentation and all the stuff we talk about is so important to know who are you talking to. Because if you send out a blanket email that starts one way, let's say this starts with a problem, and they don't know they got a problem, they're deleting the email. Like, this has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
or sorry, let's go the other way around. You're starting with the product aware, or you're starting with the solution aware, and they're like, okay, this has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to read this, because you're talking about, a product. You're talking about a problem aware, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So Joey, we're 30 minutes into this, and thank you, Kay. I was going to say we're 30 minutes into this, and I haven't seen any comments, and poof, there's Kay.
Oh, they're listening. They're listening intently. Don't worry. Okay, so I love that. Where are we here? Let me get back to this view here.
Match the solution to the problem the client has in a way where you highlight a feature of your solution that they may not necessarily realize they need. But when you make the connection, they go, aha, I really need music to get better engagement and conversions with my videos.
Yep.
Excellent. Well put. Thank you, Kay. Yep. She's got it.
This is the thing where, okay, and if you understand who you're speaking to, so here's what a lot of people do, and I'm not pointing any fingers, because I'm probably the most guilty of doing it, where I would say, here's a problem, you feel this, and this is what's going on in your life. By the way, go buy Atlas or go buy Right Marketing Copy, and it'll fix that problem. Meanwhile, I haven't introduced what the solution is. I haven't talked anything about that. I went from, you have this problem, right? And they're like, yeah. I say, well, the solution is my product. Go buy it. And you skip right over everything.
Right.
And that's what I see so many people doing. So if you understand that they've got this problem and you've got all these other solutions, remember, Kay, when we talk about an Atlas, the unique process, right? And I say, share your unique process with people. That's what I'm talking about. Because if people are saying, and Scott, same way, it would be Scott's talking to somebody who has a problem with getting more engagement in their video. And he comes in and goes, oh, okay, well, what kind of music are you using? And they're like, what are you talking about? Oh, you're not using music? And then all of a sudden there is another solution to their problem that Scott is attaching himself to, that they never knew about anymore. And all of a sudden now they're in that solution aware thinking and looking for, well, what kind of music do I need? What music do I put in? Where are the music apps? And you come in and now you move them to the product aware stage. And I'll show the visual here because it's so important. And Scott comes in and says, yeah, we actually have our music in our video app too, which snaps to, and then you go right into the thing. And you've brought them from one little problem saying we've actually got it in our software, and our software is even great, the best, because it does this thing with music. Right? And you've tapped into a problem that they are already talking about, told them a solution very quickly and said, here's how our product does that. And then you leave it. And then it doesn't mean, and they may go ahead and buy the product, but they may just sit there and they're aware of Fast Video Creator now. Sorry, man, I'm doing all the talking. Let me hear your thoughts, bro.
What's wrong with you doing all the talking?
I want to hear your thoughts behind this. Let's talk about any one of these. Like, where do you see your product, or any insights on that? As Kay comes back in, the bridge is critical, the process of the solution, and oh, by the way, our product does that too. Exactly.
It all goes back, Joey, to this is the basic. You've got a problem. I've got the solution. And here's the different ways you can get that solution with the product, the service, the thing that I've got. So in looking at which one of these do you think is the most important?
Wow. I sit between the problem and the solution aware. Like, I think that those, like, solution aware, if I had to pick one, it would be solution aware. Like, my market, I focus on solution aware. Like they've already gone through the stages of unaware. They've figured out they've got a problem. They're looking for a solution. They've tried a few solutions. They've tried a few coaches, copywriting products or whatever, and it's still not working. That is like the gold for me right there, because I don't have to do any work except talk. Because here's the thing. It's not that we still don't talk about the problem. in the unaware, in the solution stages. And by the way, any stage that they're in, except for this one, because they bought already, any stage here talks about the previous stages, right? We just don't focus on it. But if I'm focused on, hey, look, if you're looking for XYZ to grow your business, whatever that is, and you've tried all these things, did you know that my product helps you do that, right? So this to me is the gold.
So what you're saying is for you, Joey, with Atlas, that your audience, your dream client, your avatar, whatever we want to call them, they are problem aware. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like you said.
Exactly, 100%.
They've bought courses, they've hired coaches, they've done this. They know they got a problem because they can't get traction, they can't scale, they can't make money, they can't make anything happen.
Well, and the other thing is that they're doing one-on-one client work as well, and they got no more time or they're burnt out. So there's a bunch of problems there. But yes, you're right.
Right. So the solution aware, that's where you come in, because they've tried different solutions, but they're not solutions. They're promises. The difference between a promise and a solution.
Right.
A solution solves your problem. A promise is nothing but saying, here's my promise. So you're in that solution aware, which then easily leads to Atlas or right marketing copy, depending.
Exactly. So it's easy for me to reference it. And once they become aware of Atlas in this example, then I can reference it, and somebody might put up their hand, or I might tag them or something, and they're now Atlas aware. So they're in that product aware stage. So I can talk to them at that level too. Hey, you wanted to know more about Atlas or blah, 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 blah. And I can talk to them on both levels, because now I can talk to them about the solution and say, remember, you had all these problems. Well, Atlas is now available. Do you want to join us? Whatever. And that doesn't mean they will buy it, because they're in that product. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it. Let me share it again. So they're in they're in this product aware stage, and they're just waiting for the right time to move into buying it. I'm most aware. I want to buy this thing now. I'm ready to go. So yes, I focus completely here. And this is why I say to anybody, this is the sweet spot for marketing: problem and solution aware. They've already know that they've got a problem, and they're already looking for a solution, whether they've found a couple of solutions or they're looking for solutions. And you come in saying, look, I know exactly what your problem is. And I know what a solution is. Let me show you what the solution is by showing you my product.
Now, let's talk about copy. Let's go back to copy right now. So how do you, as a copywriter, as a marketer, as an email genius, how do you segment and talk about the problem, the solution, and the product?
If they are, well, I do all my stuff through tagging and all that. So by the conversation again. So if somebody comes into my world and I have no idea of where they are on the on that scale, it's my job to have that conversation with them. Now, whether that is through a chat, whether it's through back and forth email, or whether it's through the general emails that go out that talk about certain things, and based on their behavior, I can then start segmenting, saying, oh, okay, I see this guy is clicking on copy all the time. He's going and downloading my copy checklist or whatever, right? Or even on the bottom, my super PS, and it's got, it gives you the promise of each one of my programs. If you click on that thing, I'm assuming you already know there's a problem with your copy. If it says create copy that converts whatever, right? I'm assuming you already know there's a problem. You just may not know what a solution is. Does that make sense? So I'm watching the behavior.
I'm gonna go to a different place with the same question.
Okay, 1 second. I don't know who this is about Atlas, but I will, if you can let us know who you are, just by clicking on StreamYard, then I can let you know, or just DM me and I'll let you know about Atlas and give you all the details.
What is Atlas?
Atlas is the program that helps you create a premium price group program.
That's it? That's the explanation? That's pretty weak.
I was just reading all the comments here. Yeah, it's a program that basically helps you create a premium price group program so that you are building your business. What else can I say about it? I mean, it's
Is that your escalator speech?
no, I'm all thrown off here. I don't know what to say about Atlas. Kay, maybe help me out what Atlas is. It's basically getting a group program in place for you, so you don't have to.
Isn't it about finding your ideal dream client and defining them?
It is with dream clients. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Building a program that enables you to scale and do group coaching and goof off and sit down like you do every day and don't do anything. So, Joey, back to my question now that I've funneled you.
Hang on a minute. Wait a second. Enrolling in DM Joey for more info. Yeah, I do. I promise I do know what Atlas is. Oh, Dan. Okay, Dan asked questions. Right. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. And there's the explanation. Atlas helps you find your dream clients without the fuss, trouble, and hard sell, and then create a premium price group program from that. Go ahead, Scott. What was the question?
The question was, I know that Atlas, write marketing copy and this. Let's take somebody that's watching this. This is kind of new. And they're like, okay, now how do I start this process? You've got tagging and you've got super PSs and segmentation and all that stuff. Somebody is like, okay, I've got this program. I've got this product. I know there's a problem. I know the solution, and I know my product will help them. So how would they start out the first part in the problem awareness?
Okay, that's a great question.
And then to the solution awareness.
It is by conversation. So depending on however you're communicating with somebody, you know that I do a lot of chat communications.
Yeah.
Somebody reaches out, says something, hey, whatever, like your feedback, something like that. And I'll start a conversation. I will start so how's your business going? What are you building with Kajabi or whatever that looks like? And they'll start telling me stuff. And instead of me this is why I'm so against all the scripts and the bots and all this other kind of stuff, right? Because it's not a human being. You're not having a real conversation. So I'm having a real conversation and spending time investing in that conversation. Where it goes is where it goes. But to answer your question is I'm looking for how they respond. And if they say, you know what, I just can't get my business off the ground. I've been doing it for 5 years and giving away free content forever, and I can't make any sales. And I'm saying, and then I'll get into that and say, so that's a problem right there. There's a problem. I know what the problem is. Say, well, then I might ask a question, and let's say it might be, well, who's your dream client? Like, who are you serving? And they might say, what's a dream client? And then that gives me another clue that they may not know, or that their problem is they don't know what a dream client is in order to connect with the dream client to make the sale. And then and then that'll give me an opportunity to talk about one of my proprietary or unique processes. Well, here's what a dream client is. You probably heard of an avatar, right? And they're like, yes. Well, a dream client is a little bit different than an avatar, and here's why. And now I'm introducing them to what? A solution now to the problem, which is, oh, wait a second. I've thought about this avatar thingy between 35 and 40, and maybe I'm not doing that right. Right. And that might lead into a copy conversation. It might lead into an Atlas conversation, which is, how are you connecting with dream clients, or how are you trying to find dream clients or something? And they'll say, well, I've invested in this program that gives me messenger bots, or I got this script and I go to LinkedIn and I ping everybody and I send them this thing. I'm like, okay, that's kind of not what you need to be doing. And here's why, right? So it's all about conversation. So I can't have a blanket answer for anybody, because it's all about having the conversation, and somebody will say where they are. Because so to extend that, let's say somebody, again, in a chat, and they say, well, how's your business going? And they'll say, you know what, I've tried everything, and my landing page doesn't work. And I'm like, why do you think that? Well, because the copy sucks. Like, right away, I know there's a copy problem. And let's say, well, what have you tried? Like, what have you been doing? And they might say, I bought this program, or I hired this copywriter, or maybe they don't say that, right? So depending on what they're saying, that leads me into, hey, did you know about right marketing copy? Or let me answer some questions about that for you. Does that make sense?
So it all goes back to the languaging, the conversation,
Yes.
the questioning, the interaction. It's not in the beginning about running ads, and it's about doing the research, getting out there, talking to people. I'll go back to what I used to do. I get on the Zoom call with somebody and say, okay, what's your problem? Let me see what's going on. Let me look at your funnel. Let me look at your copy, your landing page, everything.
Yes.
Hey, here's your problem. Here's what the solution is, and this is what you need to go do about it. Now, at the time, I didn't have a what did you call your P thing?
Super PS.
No. You used two P words earlier. That was your something, your proprietary process.
Right. Okay.
Is it preposterous, your proprietary process? Or is it proficiently profitable? So I'm in the mood tonight, Joey. Haven't been in the mood in a while.
That's great.
I love what you said, and I want to go back to it because it's so important that anybody listening understands it is that conversation. And if you're doing it on LinkedIn, or you're doing it on Facebook, or you've got a YouTube channel, or Instagram, or wherever you're at, Twitter, TikTok, and you're communicating with people, you're interacting with them, it's not jump to the discovery call, to the clarity call.
Right.
It's let's talk about what's going on to identify the problem awareness, the awareness of the problem, and say, you know what, I really can offer you the solution. And the solution is to do X, Y, and Z. And then rather than going to the product awareness, you can't skip the solution awareness. You can't just say, hey, you got a problem, I can fix it.
Yeah, here's my product.
Here's my product. It's, look, you got a problem, and the solution to your problem is X, Y, Z. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. Well, guess what? Now I've got something that's going to help you do that fast, simple, easy. It's called Blotty Blotty. Here you go. Check it out. Then they move to the most aware. So I think it was really important. Again, Joey, it goes back to the first part of right marketing copy. Go out and do your research. Go out and talk to your people.
Yes, and so I want to talk a little bit about everything you just said is so important for everybody to understand, and how to use this, what we're looking at, the levels of awareness, and some of the timelines too. This is important, and because you asked about Atlas, and that's what we talk about as well, because if we focus on a lot about timelines, and a lot of the marketing that's out there tries to really condense that timeline into minutes, right? And what you just said, get on a chat, do all those things, which is totally right. However, I don't want it to be like this template, which we see a lot of, or at least I see it, Scott, every day. That's why sometimes you see me
right,
a screenshot of something going, oh my God, here we go. Right.
Yeah.
So if you're on on the chat, let's say, and you have a problem aware person, and you introduce the solution aware thing. Okay. It doesn't mean that you need to necessarily move into the product aware stage so you could sell them the thing right then and there.
Right.
You and I both know that, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that, because that's not what we're suggesting. This all has to do with the level of bond and trust and communication. Okay. So I'll give you another example of this now. Let's say that somebody, where I wanted to go with another idea that you said about running an ad or something, and you don't know where they are. So let's say that for a fast video creator, you know that there's a problem out there, and all you're trying to do is extricate or attract, whatever. You're trying to attract the people, the problem aware people. So you speak to the problem and you say, look, are you having trouble making videos fast that are engaging, that people want, keep on listening to, so that you could sell whatever it is, right? Like, that's the problem. The people who click on that ad are problem aware, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So they opt in, And instead of you, which other marketers do, saying, "Hey, thanks for opting into my checklist on how to make videos fast. Here's my product for sale of 50% off," whatever. They're like, "What the hell are you talking?" Right? So
Yeah.
instead of doing that, you go into the next stage, which is solution aware emails. You
Yep.
see how it all combines, it all works. Like, okay, well, if they're problem aware, then I need to tell them about the solution. That doesn't necessarily mean that solution aware email goes into the product and then into the sale, which is what a lot of people still do too, right? If they're even following that formula. So you could do a week or two or whatever of just solutions, saying here's, and not even mention your product yet. We're not even talking about the product yet. Did you know that if you did music, you can get more engagement? And here's why music is awesome. And you can tell the story about Star Wars and all that stuff and just leave it. Right? And it doesn't have anything to do with the product yet until you've introduced different solutions that address the problem. And then the next set of emails, the next week, is another part of the solution. And then you say, by the way, did you know that Fast Video Creator, and that's why we created Fast Video Creator with what's the snapping thing I called again?
Flexible music track.
With flexible music tracks. Because most people, so it's kind of like you're introducing here, man, my brain is going, so I apologize for the ADD, but it's going crazy right now.
That was my plan, by the way.
Your solution might be to introduce the music, right? It's like, okay, I get it. He's got music. But then what happens is there's another problem that comes up with that, which is I don't know how to edit music and none of the music fits. So you talk to that. You've created a new problem by answering a first problem, right? So so instead of you saying, well, you can add music tracks and Fast Video Creator will help you do that. Instead of you doing that, you say, but there's a problem because you don't have the music usually doesn't fit. And so I'll tell you all about how to do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow you come in and say, did you know that you could actually edit video or edit music this way and make things timeline and blah, 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 blah. And that's why we created flexible music tracks for Fast Video Creator. And all of a sudden you've introduced 2 or 3 problems. You said, holy crap, these guys have just fixed the problem in their thing called Fast Video Creator. Does that make sense? So it's not always about that, about selling the product.
What I'm pushing you to, Joey, is the fact that a lot of people will look and say, well, how can I do this without selling them my product? And what you're doing a spectacular job is what most people miss is the importance of the value emails and solving the problem with the solution and not going to the product as a solution. And that's, I think, a very difficult point for people to get, to figure out and to do, because they're like, well, I really can't solve their problem unless they have my product.
Right, right.
In reality, here's the problem and here's a solution and here's a solution and here's a solution. And the way they best do it ultimately is with this thing we created. So I think it's really, really important to emphasize that piece that you've just talked about so eloquently, is when I do an email sequence after somebody opts in, rather than throttling them with the 7 email sequence cart closing.
Right.
Look, I know that writing copy is difficult. For most people, sitting down and with a piece of paper on a computer and trying to write copy, they have no clue what to do. The first thing that you need to do, which is the biggest secret, is you need to find out what your audience is talking about. And guess what? It's real easy to do that. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, and here's how you do it, right? And then that's part of the process, the proprietary process that you're putting together.
Proprietary, right. The proprietary process, I'll leave that alone. So it's like, the first thing you should really do is go on to Amazon and do this and this and this. And tomorrow, I'm going to share with you another place to go. So for tomorrow or 2 days later, it's, hey, now you should go find some of the groups and join them. Not to do the bloody script thingy, but see what people are talking about. Engage with them. Ask questions. And guess what? In a couple more days, I'm going to show you yet another place. So you've given them 3 places, and they're like, wow. Now you get to talk about a copy bank. And then it's like, oh, by the way, they're engaged. You've ingratiated yourself with them. You've created, trust. They're starting to know you, like you, and trust you before you say, hey, take out your wallet and give me some money.
That's right.
You've moved the needle. You've given them a little bit of an ROI. You've made them aware of the problem and the solution before you throttle them.
That's right. Brilliantly said. That's the whole point, Scott. And that's where this graphic, by the way, if you want the graph or this worksheet, whatever you want to call it, and you're not in my Facebook group, please join us and you can get it. I'll put it in there just after this show. And this is what I have on my desk constantly, because I know where, if I'm going to start an email or a conversation or a post, I'm looking at the market and thinking, who am I speaking to right now? So I might put a post in tomorrow or tonight or whatever that about Atlas, that people are in the product aware stage. They already know what Atlas is, and that will be a very short thing. It'll say, I'm looking for 5 to 7 people to join me in the next Atlas cohort who want XYZ, right? That's a very direct email or post to people who are already product aware, already Atlas aware, right? If they're not problem aware, they're going to totally ignore that. If they don't know there's a problem, if they're not looking for a solution on how to, coach better or make more money doing less, working less and all that other stuff, they're just going to ignore that post. Right?
Here's another question, Joey. Yes. Somebody is hip to this. They're like, I love this. I want to do this. You talked about an opt-in. What would you do to get somebody to opt in for the first piece from you? What would you recommend that somebody do to get somebody to opt in and give you their name and email address in exchange for what?
So this is, again, I'm going to always go right back to where are they on this level of awareness. So let's say that you have a gift and you want to opt them in. So I would have a gift that is problem aware focused and solution aware focused. So 2 separate gifts that are related to Atlas or Right Marketing Copy, whatever your product is. So the first one one of them I have is called the Dream Client Trifecta, because people don't know. The problem is that they can't make sales, and they don't know. The reason is because they don't have a dream client defined. And that is the problem aware gift. Look, I'm going to show you what a dream client is, and show you why that everything else you've tried before with avatars and all that is not. It's not that doesn't work. It's just not enough. And if you really want to make sales and make it really easy on yourself, you need to understand what a dream client is. And so that's the problem I'm dealing with right there. So there's 2 gifts. And this is where we go back to when you said about the advertising. You put out a Facebook ad that talks only to the Facebook group about the video. This is the problem. And you get people opting in, and you're going to go through that gift is everything to do with the problem, or the follow-up sequence has everything to do with moving them into the solution. You could also, and you could run both ads. You can do one as a problem and then one as a solution aware. That ad might say, you already know that video is the hottest thing out in the market and da-da-da. The problem is you can't make them fast and things are expensive and blah, 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 right? You're talking to the solution part. And then when they opt in, it's a completely different campaign or gift, because they already know what the problem is and they're already in the solution aware. So you're already one level up the ladder. So it all depends on the behaviors. I'm going to go right back to that all the time. What are the behaviors of the market? That's what we look at. Right? It's the psychographics, all that stuff, right, Scott, that we talk about, rather than all the demographics and everything else. Yeah. I don't really care about demographics. Most of it is all psychographic. What are they doing? Who do they follow? Why do they follow that? And why are they in those groups? Yep. What else are they looking at? All these other things. And when they jump onto my world, what are their behaviors? What are they doing that I could follow that gives me clues to where they sit on this level of awareness?
Extremely well said, Joey. This evening on Marketing Made Easy, we've been talking about the 5 levels of customer awareness. And Joey, as always, has eloquently explained and described his proprietary process and how we really need to look at what stage the people are at and talk to them at that stage. So excellent topic, Joey.
Thank you, my friend. You don't have anything to add? Any more to add to that?
I can't add to what you said, Joey. It's just like, why would I bother?
All right, man. Thanks.
No, it's just everything that we're talking about tonight, everything we've said and talked about in this continuum of awareness. It's just, pushing, and I pushed you tonight, and thank you for playing, and thank you for just constantly coming up with what somebody should be doing and how they should be doing it to be able to communicate it. It goes to that whole right marketing copy concept of meeting your audience where they're at, talking to them based on where they're at. And if they're not in the product awareness stage, then don't even talk about your product.
Yeah.
Not a solution. Don't talk about a solution. If they're still unaware, then you've got a big challenge ahead of you. But once they're aware that there is a problem, and pretty much if you're online, if you're marketing, you should know the basic, simple, they got a problem, I got a solution.
Yeah, it's so much easier to go into a market that they're already totally aware of what's happening and what they need. And your energy is spent on nurturing that relationship in terms of bonding, that you're the right solution for them, rather than educating them on you got a problem and you need to fix it. Right? There's 2 ways we can spend our energy. And to me, it doesn't make any sense to spend it way down there. It just makes so much sense to say, I need somebody to help me, write copy really fast or make videos really fast. Do you know anybody, or do you know anything about that?
Right.
Yes, I do. Tell me a little bit more about what you're challenged with.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So much easier. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for being here on another live call. We appreciate you. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. Thanks for all the likes. And if you like this and you want to share it with your audience, that would be pretty cool. So thank you for that too. Hopefully you're enjoying this, and we will be here every single Tuesday talking about all things marketing, all things mindset, and to even help you out. I was expecting a few more conversations here, but hey, that's cool. We still had a really good conversation between ourselves. But remember, if you're watching this, this is not about us. This is about you. And if you have questions about your business, we would love for you to ask us and for us to help you out.
You got it.
Ciao, everybody.
Ciao.